How y'all doing? It's the Higgnz. And this is the That's What's Up podcast. I want to thank all you guys who have been viewing, paying attention. And shout out to my boy Caught on here. This is a pandemic. Yes. That is the new single, Pandemic, which is featuring my boy Caught On, which is that first verse there. Dr. Fauci, which you had heard on the last episode. And I'll break it down. I'll give you the chorus next one, right? So link will be in the description when you guys are done, if you're watching this from YouTube. So what's up? How y'all been? Look, tomorrow's the day. Well, it is 10:30 p.m. right now. I just saw something as I was browsing through Google saying that people are already lining up at businesses in the New Orleans metro region, area to go shopping. Like ready to go. Are they in need, or they just ready to do some real retail? I don't know. But there's been 85,000 confirmed deaths so far, plus 85,000 plus confirmed deaths in the U.S. so far. And which right now is going to be a real serious turning point because, like I said, some of these things are starting to reopen. I had heard Florida had reopened already a couple weeks ago. I think Florida and Georgia maybe. Don't quote me on that. But I know Florida was one of them. Started to open things up and turned around. I heard they shut some of the beaches down again because people were getting out of hand. But, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't see it. But I am seeing they finally get through this pandemic and they have wildfires in Florida. I had no idea Florida can have wildfires. Is it a wildfire like because when you think about wildfire, you think about California every year where just miles and miles of trees burn down, right? There's huge square miles of wildlife that they lose every year because of the wildfires. Well, I mean, this one obviously wasn't as big, and they ended up finding the guy who did it. Supposedly, he was just loosely burning. Let's see. I need to see it. I can say his name, no incrimination. But Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, was arrested Tuesday as accused of burning illegal or prohibited materials in a burn barrel. In a barrel, dude. I'm just more shocked about the fact that Florida can have a wildfire. And we've been having a drought. Look, we live in the South. We haven't got a lot of rain. I mean, they live right by the Gulf just like I do. I would never hear of a wildfire in New Orleans. Like, it just doesn't, The ground is always pretty moist. The stuff is green. I make a lot of fires. And I know it won't burn if it's green. So there may be a different kind of trees here. Look like some pine trees in this picture. So maybe that's what it is. I don't have a lot of pine trees in my area. That's usually north of Lake Pontchartrain where you'll start to see those pine trees show up. But we don't have any of that here. Maybe that's why. But 13 square miles are burned on either side of Interstate 75 in southwestern Florida. The interstate reopened on Thursday, so that's a good sign. It sounded like they contained the fire. Residents of nearly 600 homes were told to evacuate. I bet you they didn't see that coming. I'm sure they did. A wildfire. That's almost like right out the gate when somebody tells you that. That's almost like telling you right out the gate that there's an earthquake. You got to leave. Because I'd be in that kind of shock. But back to this. Now, let's talk hard times, unemployment. From an economist that predicted that 2.7 million people would be out of jobs. We're at 2.98. So it's higher. Where these stats are coming from, how they get these kind of stats that quick, I don't know. These are people who have filed for unemployment, right? And on to the fear-mongering, right? This is a quote in a news article that Congress is saying that 2020 could be one of the darkest winters in history, the winter of 2020. So they telling us the shit's coming back, and it's gonna be it's gonna be worse, right? Like, it's here to stay. It's gonna be worse. Why? I thought we were supposed to get immune to it. But maybe since you locked us up in our houses for months, our immune systems are not immune to it. Herd immunity. When do you get it? You got all these new ventilators now. Know what I'm saying? But we know about those ventilators. Talked about that. I heard that again today about how bad those ventilators could be. 80%. They're talking about 80% of the people who died in New York. Well, I'm sorry, 80% of the people who were put in ventilators in New York died, right? So there was an 80-20 chance if I put you on, you got a 20% chance of living if I put you on this ventilator. Now, what would have happened? You know, we talked about this. How many cases would have made it if they just would have rolled out the storm instead of just hooking you up and knocking you out with a ventilator? That's crazy. It's going to put a whole new concept. A lot of people are going to be accused because the smoke will eventually clear. People will investigate where this news came from and how it got there. Hopefully, we find out the truth. You know, and also through the term 5 years, the timeline of 5 years, we could be dealing with this pandemic. You know, so like 5 years of your life, you are restricted on freedom in some shape or form than what you had before this came here. You know, what's the percentage of that? What's our average? We average 70, 75 maybe. So take those 5 years away and, you know, you did a little soft time at home in 5 years. That shit's not cool. I don't think people's not going to lock themselves up for that long. They're going to take their chances. And also they say China marks 1 month with no confirmed deaths. But then I also seen something else right after that, saying that it's a independent news report, which is Epoch Times, right? 20 people were loaded in an ambulance at a Wuhan hotel and shipped off just recently. This journalist reported this a day ago. They ain't dying, but they're getting shipped off in ambulances. I don't know, right? But also, goats and papaya have tested positive for this shit, right? Goats and papaya. Oh, and then something about, I think, is it llamas? Llamas may be the key to our vaccine or some shit. Like, I don't know, bro. Today's date is May 14th, 2020. If somebody would have told me that Donald Trump's going to be your president 2020, right? This is May 14th, year 2000. Donald Trump's going to be your president. There's going to be this pandemic that is going to shut down all major league sports and keep everyone locked up in their houses. And the number one song on the radio, or number one song in the world right now, It's by this rapper that's got a rainbow head, the number 69 tatted on his face, and the number 69 tatted in 68 other places on his body. I don't know. That shit just sounds crazy to me. Whew. And that's what's up.